Hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. Hope you're doing well. Sorry for shooting vertically. I gotta hit you with a vertical every once in a while. I gotta throw you off your balance. I gotta hit you with a left hook. I gotta surprise you. I gotta go, whoa, he's vertical. But in this video, I'm gonna be talking about my hype and expectations for the new Death Grips record, Year of the Snitch, hopefully coming out very soon. That's what the Third World's website says. The band recently dropped a promotional video where they released the track list, which I think was a genius video. It looked kind of like an iPhone screen capture of a bunch of really odd video footage, and then you got a series of text messages kind of popping up as the video footage was being viewed, putting out the names of the tracks, and there was like the sound setting of MC Ride screaming as each text would come in. And some of the video footage was kind of weird and freaky, and I wouldn't be surprised if among their fans maybe some of the video footage was crowdsourced or something like that. Like, it seemed like the footage came from like a lot of weird places, but I could be totally wrong on that. I'm probably totally wrong on that. But anyway, the rollout for this album has been relatively interesting so far, though I'm hoping that it does not end sort of where it's currently sitting at. I mean, you just had this promotional video, you had some pictures of some uh, very attention-grabbing and very controversial, in a way, collaborators on the album connected to the band Tool, connected to the movie Shrek. You had this whole Death Grips is Online meme, which turns out to be a track on the album itself. And the track listing itself is kind of an attention grabber, too. Again, not only is Death Grips Online a title on the album, there's also a track titled The Horn Section, a track titled Little Richard. There's an outro track, and then following the outro track is a song titled Disappointed, and there's a track titled Shit Show, and maybe the song that I'm most excited to listen to is Linda's in Custody. I have no idea what the hell that's going to sound like. Linda's in Custody. I'm kind of hoping that again, the promotional rollout of this album goes a little bit farther and goes a little bit more ambitious. I hope we get a single from this record, a music video, a teaser, a weird experimental internet-based, I don't know, maze for all the fans to kind of like get excited about and sort of get lost in for a little bit. I feel like Death Grip's last album promotional rollout was a little tame, or I don't know, just kind of uneventful. It seemed like at first there was going to be more to it with Karen Black and everything, rest in peace, but it didn't end up looking like that was the case. This one is shaping up, I think, to be a little bit more interesting so far. Or if, we end up just kind of getting the album dropped out of the blue, I hope that we get another series of very interesting music videos and visuals, because if Death Grips is, great at doing anything, it's pairing their songs with really creative, really cutting edge, really strange music video content. Now, as far as like musical expectations or conceptual expectations or hopes for this record, I hope the band continues to go more and more experimental, more and more abrasive. I hope that they essentially find ways to incorporate other genres into their style in the way that they did on the new Steroids sort of megamix / EP thing. To hear Gabber sort of pop up on this record again would be kind of interesting. Hopefully the album is not quite as lo-fi as the Steroids record. But, even if they were to try to find ways to reach beyond the whole Gabber thing and the punk thing and the number of other genres they've managed to work into their repertoire would be amazing. And I don't know, some of the track list, as well as the Death Grips is Online thing, combined with some of the lyrics and some of the topics on their last record, Bottomless Pit, had me wondering if they're going to find ways to incorporate the internet, online culture, their fan base, the sort of how they interact with their fans, sort of the cryptic messaging and everything like that into their lyrics, into the stories on this album. Death Grips is very much a beast of the internet, and I feel like online culture and everything, especially in the the wake of the last election, the wake of everything that's happened with Facebook and Cambridge Analytica and so on and so forth, has been getting really strange, really interesting. There's like this heightened interest in politics online, in concern for information sharing and lack of privacy on the internet. It would certainly be interesting to explore a lot of these themes, because I think if there's any group out there who could do it effectively, it's definitely Death Grips, because again, the internet is woven so deeply into a lot of their stuff, that and there are already elements of kind of that paranoia, that loss of privacy popping up in their stuff here and there. But now it sort of seems like it's worse than it was when they were originally, writing songs like "I've Seen Footage" and that sort of thing. So it's still very much a relevant topic. So it would be interesting, not just to hear that, but kind of just to hear the internet sort of incorporated more interestingly into, I guess, their music as a theme, since it seems like it's becoming a larger and a stranger and, in a way, like even a more dangerous beast, than it was back in the day, when it just kind of seemed like it was the Wild West and not everybody was on it, not everybody was interested in it, not everybody was trying to manipulate it. So it certainly would be cool to hear just online culture, digital culture, the information age, approached at different angles on this new record. But of course, also just like finding different ways to be abstract and just throw fans a left hook that they just don't see coming, which is most likely what's going to happen in the case of tracks like Little Richard and Horn Section and so on and so forth. I don't know. I just have no reason not to be excited for the new album, Like, pretty much every record they've dropped so far has been great to incredible. With a few exceptions here and there, but still, I think they're one of the most consistent, artistically consistent in terms of quality, and consistent in terms of boundary pushing artists of this decade. And it may end up going down that they end up being my favorite artist of the decade, but I feel like I'm going to just have to leave it at that. I'm pretty excited for the year of the Snitch, year of the Snitch. I'll leave on this. I'll say one more thing. The album cover to me is viscerally disgusting. Just those lips poking out of those like weird plastic holes. It is freaky to me and just like really fucking gross. I'm not sure what else I have to say about it other than that. It's just really gross. It's just really, really gross. I certainly find it to be more evocative. I've had a stronger reaction to that than the Bottomless Pit album cover, which is not gross. It's kind of creepy though. It's a little creepy. I kind of feel like this latest album cover, it's got a similar aesthetic to it though. It's definitely got a similar aesthetic, but I find it to be so much grosser, so much more gross, so much more disgusting. So thank you for watching. Hopefully you guys share some of my feelings and some of my thoughts here, and feel free to throw yours down in the comments as well if you're really looking forward to Year of the Snitch, and or if you think you're not so much anticipating it. Could this potentially be, because could this potentially be Death Grip's worst album? Could it be their worst album? Because I feel like to throw a track like Disappointment at the very end, not that I think they would put out a bad album on purpose, but there's always going to be a point where your fan base kind of bucks you because you did something or you tried something that they don't like. And even if you as the artist believe in the vision, sometimes the audience may not vibe with it at all. And maybe this is going to be that moment. Maybe this might be that turning point where the fans are just like, ugh, ugh. Because, I have certainly felt a sense that Death Grips isn't doing quite as much to, again, try to challenge their fans conceptually. I feel like Bottomless Pit, while it was great and while it was one of their catchiest records, I feel like in a way they were just kind of like feeding into the expectations of the fan base by writing a record that in a lot of ways was a culmination of everything that they had done so far, pretty much like a Money Store 2.0 in a way. For Year of the Snitch, I would certainly hope that they would find some way to, again, challenge things a little bit more in terms of the rollout, in terms of the music, and yeah, that's it. All right, I love you. You're the best. I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and give your family a hug and kiss before you go to bed. Okay? All right, forever.